Hello, everyone. How you doing? This is Joey Lott's picture and my voice. This is Chanan, everyone. And once again, with my brother, Joey Lott.
Hi, everybody. It's really nice to see you. And today we're going to talk about, what are we talking about? I forget. We're talking about what it is to really be ready for your awakening. And this is a topic that's really important to me because, personally, I remember what it was like to be to feel like I was on the edge. Like, am I ready? Am I not ready? I'm not sure. And I could feel like butterflies in my stomach sometimes. And it's like, the opportunity's there, but I wasn't sure if I was really ready to seize it. Because I think there's an awful lot of baggage that comes along with that, in our minds, thinking what that's going to mean and what that's going to require and what it's going to look like. And really, if we tell the truth, there's this real attachment to the identity of suffering, at least for me. And then the invitation really is, if you haven't heard this before, the invitation is to actually be willing to call off the search, to actually be found instead of seeking. And that can bring up some trepidation, I think, and then that doubting, am I ready? Am I not ready? And so I think getting clarity on what it is to actually be ready is really important. Because when you recognize what it is to actually be ready, then you know where you are in this. You know what the opportunity is that's in front of you. And for me, that readiness, and I often say this to people, is we've already had enough suffering. Every single one of us. We've had more than enough suffering. And when you recognize that, then actually you're ready, because you sense that there's that longing deep within you for true and lasting peace. And to me, that longing in and of itself is the indicator of readiness, because you're in connection with that and you recognize something there. And that something is the calling of yourself to yourself to finally wake up and recognize your inherent freedom.
Yeah, see, it's true. It's like if you can identify for a moment in yourself, like that which has you listening right now, that which has pulled you forth on your journey, right? What journey am I talking about? We could call it a spiritual journey, but it's really your journey to discover freedom, to discover wholeness, right? So it starts off on that journey early on, that something's off about us. Something's not quite right. Me, my family, the world, but no one tells us to investigate that. And for sure, no one tells us to look to you being as the freedom that you're looking for. We're told that if you do this, then you'll have that, then you'll be that, right? In the separation paradigm world, that what you accomplish, what you act as, will attract the right person, the right job, the right quote unquote success that's going to give you fulfillment, right? So what is fulfillment, right? Being fully filled. So if you can identify that void, that sense of something's off, that was there from childhood, but if you tell the truth, having your whole life, haven't you been trying to fill that void, right? So you're trying to fill something, or you're reaching for something that's going to give you fulfillment, right? And you start to notice at some point in your life along the journey that, wait a minute, this new car, this new phone, this new relationship, this amount of money, right? Because we see celebrities and people with tons of money, clearly not happy. And we start to say, wait a minute, that's not it. That can't be it. That's not going to give me lasting fulfillment. I'm not going to be fully filled. I'm not going to fill that void with the right food, the right narcotic, the right anything. It just doesn't work. Yeah. So we get disenchanted. We have a disillusionment that the outside world's going to offer you fulfillment, right? But then we come along the idea of working on ourselves and making ourselves better. And that gets kind of futile after a while, doesn't it? If you tell the truth, how many things have you done to make yourself better, to fix yourself? And when we get kind of nauseous of that, we perhaps dawn on the spiritual journey, the journey of discovering the now, reality. And many of you have had that opening, right? That poof experience of, yes, this is who I am. This is it. That's it, right? I remember I had that in Joshua Tree Desert in 1996. Boom. Oh my goodness. God's not this guy thing outside of me. It's everything. It's everywhere. I'm included in that. That's reality. So then we start to fiend for that experience, right? Maybe if you swim enough dolphins, right? Maybe,
oh, there you go.
yeah. Maybe if you swim with enough dolphins, maybe if you do enough courses, maybe if you meditate enough hours, then that experience will come back. And maybe that experience will stay because it stayed for a day or two or weeks or a year for me before.
Yeah.
But we have to start looking, what are we fiending for? Like an addict fiending for an experience. We become like experience junkies.
Mm-hmm.
So what we want you to hear in this, we're talking about how do you know you're ready for awakening, to really live lasting fulfillment and lasting inner peace. Something in you says, enough already.
Yeah.
I've had enough. I've seen the clarity, and the seeking of that clarity, that's suffering. And some of you may even know that you can't get to now. Right now is here. So you just got to be here now. But how?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got to let go. I got to surrender, which is a good topic we'll talk about another day. But I have to surrender. I have to let go more. But come on, tell the truth. How many times have you let go? How many times have you met fear? How many? So you start to get to a point when you know you're ready is you've had enough.
Yeah.
And the truth is, we both agree, we didn't open with, I love to tell people about our mission is to help 2 million people awaken in the next 3 years, to help this tide of this movement of awakening, of this shift of inner end of suffering and outer end of suffering through self-realization.
Mm-hmm.
So you know you're ready when you see that I've had enough. And you tell the truth. Hasn't the world had enough of the me, of the self-centered me running the show?
Yeah.
So you know you're ready when you've had enough. Nothing has really, really worked and lasted. So you raise your hand and you say, life, I need support.
Yes.
I need support. Like for me, it was like I needed a teacher I could look at directly. And that was Gangaji then years ago for me. Right. And then other people showed up as students. Joey showed up as a student where I could share, and that reflection deepens your own awakening. Yeah. So to have mentorship, to have community, and to have support is so crucial. But you first have to be able to say, are you ready?
Yeah. And one thing I really want to point out, because what you just described there, Chanan, and I think that's a really rare thing for somebody to hear that so clearly elucidated that path of seeking, and to really recognize the thread throughout it, because that's important. We can allow ourselves to be fooled into believing that something fundamentally has changed when we go from seeking for worldly things to spiritual things. But when we see that there's that thread throughout, that's where, and if somebody who's listening to this, if you haven't yet seen this, this can really make a huge difference for you when you see this. So I want you to take a look and see that thread of trying to get to something, trying to fix something, trying to figure it out, trying to get to okayness, trying to reach enlightenment, that thread of seeking has been there all throughout. And the story changes. You tell a different story about it. You say, I'm getting closer, I'm further away. I'm more enlightened, I'm less enlightened. But the seeking is always there. And that seeking is what eventually becomes so painful that that's how you know you're ready, because that's what you say enough is enough to. Because you don't want to just seek for something. You want to actually find and be found. You want to really finally rest in that clarity instead of chasing after moments of clarity. You don't want to be mucking around in the past, seeking after to recreate past experiences. You want to actually inhabit the now fully as you are. And you want to recognize that. And that's truly possible. And that's when you're ready, you're able to hear that. And that's the key. When you're ready, before you're ready, you listen to that and you say, that's nonsense. I don't want anything to do with that. I just want to go get my next fix. I just want to go to another event. I want to go to another kirtan and get all blissed out. And trust me, that's fine. There's no problem with that. I love that kind of thing. I love getting blissed out. I love those experiences. But we have to tell the truth. Is that really going to give us what we most deeply long for? And it won't. And so when we recognize that, as anybody who's listening to this now can clearly recognize in your own experience, that you're just done seeking. You're done with that craving and that fiending. You're ready to actually rest in yourself. Then you're ready. That's the good news, right? I mean, if you can
Yeah.
hear this, you are ready.
And I think I would love to like have you take a look at something. Okay. So here's what I'd love you to look at. Take a moment. And like I was saying before, just see if you are able to close your eyes wherever you are. Just what if you close your eyes for a moment and just kind of take a sense of like what has you ready? What has you showing up here in other events? What has brought you along your entire journey? Right? What is that that pulls you? We call it oneness or consciousness. But I want you to recognize something. Maybe the suffering and the struggle and knowing there has to be a different way has spurred the possibility of discovering real freedom and you going for it. But let's put all that aside for a moment and let's just take a look at this willingness. Something in you says yes, right? It's deeper than just a mental desire to seek it. Something in you says yes, right? Yes, that's possible. Yes, world peace is possible. Yes, I can live in freedom, right? It's not just some vision in your head that's hopeless. There's some yes. Now, a lot of the world shuts that yes down and pushes against that world, and your own mind attacks you and says it's not possible. Forget it. It can't be that. So it tells you it has to be really difficult and hard. But is you being right now, is that difficult? Just that you are, is that difficult? Just to be. Do you have to do anything to be yourself right now? So what's amazing is if you start to notice, just sense for yourself, what is this yes in me? This is yes, that's possible. You didn't have to do anything for that willingness to be there. It rose up on its own. So what if you let that yes just meet the reality that you are? Let that yes just meet the reality that you are here. That being has always been there supporting you. That life has always supported you through your ups, downs, right and left. Life is still here. And that yes and life meet. And where they meet is the possibility of the process of life that's been waiting for eons to come to this, of self-awareness awakening through you. You see, when that yes and being meet, that's freedom. And you can know that freedom right now if you just stop seeking. Just drop everything for a moment. You can pick it back up in a second. Just for a moment, let it all just be as it is. Thoughts, sensations, feelings. Just notice that you are already here. That being already is now. You don't have to try to get to being or get to now. You shift to the possibility of being able to receive now. What if you can forget everything you can forget? The mind says, well, yeah, but for a moment right now, what if you just forget it all? What's here? And notice that the yeah, but is mind. The yeah, but is the mind negating, trying to hold on to separation survival animal. And you know you've had enough of survival. Don't you? If you don't, then continue to survive. But if you hear me, you know you've had enough of survival. You know that you're ready for freedom. So that ready is supported. And that's why you're hearing us now. No question about that. What if you just rest in yourself just right now for a second without any attempt to change anything, get rid of anything, or get anywhere? What's already available? So no one showed us how to look to being that is always here as fulfillment, but being is already fulfilled. So what is it to shift out of your mind? See, what we say in this is that what enlightenment really is, what awakening really is shifting out of your mind. The moment you're out of your mind, the moment you're aware of awareness itself, you're free. But then the mind says, well, okay, but how do I stay there? How do I keep doing that? All right, but, yeah, but. And it's possible to just not believe your mind anymore. And we do that in the process that we call access points by shifting out of your mind in your daily life, right? You'll often hear me say, if oneness is real, it's got to be everywhere. So you're awakening. Because if you are hearing this and you're ready, your awakening has to occur in life.
Yes.
And the support is all around you. But you have to tell the truth. Will you continue to shift out of your mind over and over again in your daily life? For most people, no. And it could be another 10, 20, 15 years. So my question to you is, why postpone it? Why postpone it if you know that this willingness in you rises and says yes, and you know you've been disillusioned enough to say, God, there's got to be a better way. The world needs it now. I need it now. Well, then we ask you to join us in this movement of awakening. Join us to the possibility of there being a monumental shift in your life and everyone's life. We train people out of their mind over and over again. And I want to make this clear too, Joey, right? So important. So many people say, well, you can't give enlightenment. You can't sell enlightenment. Okay, so let's be very clear. Joey and I don't sell enlightenment. You can't give enlightenment. Actually, who you already are is freedom. What we can do is give you 2 weeks of our time where we're literally just focused on you in this group. And the whole group is coming together several times a week. And Joey and I made it so we're going to be daily available to you. So any question, any challenge that comes up, you can just get access to somebody who can point you in the right direction, right? Someone who's already been to the mountaintop, right? You climb to Mount Everest. What happens when the professionals go to Mount Everest? So they just go it alone? No way. People die there every day. This is life and death, right? They die there every day. So they take the radios, they take the reports, they take the weather things, they take all the things they need for a successful mission, and they rely upon others. So if you feel alone in this journey and no one understands what we're even talking about around you, then it's time to say, yes, I need support. I need proper mentorship. And what we do is in life help you shift on your mind so often that you recognize that being is always here. And when you recognize, imagine if your attention is with being first before the survival mind, how would life be?
It really makes a world of difference. I really want to emphasize this. I remember what it was like for me when I was in that, when I was in the throes of seeking, we'll say. It was really the end run for me, where I was so desperate to really to be found. I didn't even know. I was living in that kind of confusion. I just knew there was something that was saying, something's got to shift, something, I don't know what. And I said, I realized in that moment, I need support. I really, really, really need support. I've tried to do this on my own for so long, and support is what's necessary. And I didn't know where to find that. I looked everywhere I could to try to find that kind of support where I could go and get daily support. And I promise you, if you are in that position and you've been looking, you probably haven't found that out there, because it's rare. It really just doesn't exist out there. The best you could maybe do is travel halfway across the world and hope that somebody there is going to open up their living room 3 days a week or something like that. And what we're saying is we're all actually ready. The world is ready for a different way. Up to now, just as Chanan said, how many people could point out to you that you are, and that is the source of everything? How many people had that clarity to point you to recognize that you are already free? Not many. But now what's possible is that through the power of the internet, through the power of technology, we're actually able to come together all over the world. And we have people go through this process and this coaching with us all over the world and get these results. And that is I really want to emphasize how really different this is. This is a radically different thing, because for the first time that I'm aware of, anybody with internet access can get this kind of support, so that you in your life can awaken to the clarity and the peace and freedom that you already are, so that you don't have to be struggling anymore. And you can begin to live that in your life. And by the way, that not only touches your life, it touches the lives of everybody around you. And we see that people who go through this coaching with us, they report to us that their spouses, their children, their coworkers, people notice. They say, whoa, what are you doing? Because I want some of that. And that's real. And that's possible for people everywhere now. So, we've created, we really tried our best to clear our schedules, because we want to meet one-on-one with anybody who is ready to explore this and investigate to see if you are really ready and you want to take this step into this direct coaching process together with us, so that you can be the next one to get these kinds of results. If you are done with the seeking, if you are done with the struggle, if you are done trying so hard on your own, blindly, then this is an amazing opportunity. And we have set up a really simple way in which you can sign up for your session with us. So let me tell you how you can do that. We have an assessment that you can do. Yeah, you can go to brianmark.com. That's RIANMARC.com/private. And when you go there, you will take a short assessment. And this is an awesome opportunity for you to assess where you are in your own spiritual journey, see where you're stuck and what the next step might be. And then you can book your private session with one of us, and we will sit together with you and we will inquire with you. And if you are ready, what I can promise is that in this time together, you will gain greater clarity than you have ever known. And that's the truth. And then what we can do is explore if this is a process that you want to continue in. And if you want to continue to get our mentorship, we can explore how that's possible for you. We've created an awesome program that we'd be happy to tell you about. So again, that's brianmark.com/private. And that's how you can get started.
And we want to talk about there's two things really that are kind of criteria to sit down with us, right? Because we are making this available for free. You know, Joey and I, on our websites, there's a price to meet with us. Right now, we're opening our schedule because we know that the right people will show up in the right place, right? When the student's ready, the teacher appears. Well, life is the big teacher, and the world needs us awakening, needs you to take responsibility for your awakening. So two things, right? A, you got to be ready. And we just really talked about this video, what it is to be ready. You know you're ready for that support. You know enough is enough. You've been disillusioned enough to know that you're not going to find fulfillment by seeking something, whether it's spiritual or not, the next fix, the next experience. You're done being an experience junkie and you're ready to be found. And number two is this is an upscale course, meaning that, like I said, all of our time is there in supporting you. Joey and I are available daily through like a WhatsApp court. And so you can reach out to us whenever you want. Our entire staff is going to be there. So you're going to be fully supported. I want you to imagine what that is like, to be fully supported, like being on retreat, but being in your life. So they're not separate anymore. It can't be separate anymore. So this course is $1997. It's a $2,000 course, and there are payment options available. But if you're just somebody who's not able to afford that right now, Joey and I will have other free offerings and lower price offerings coming your way. Right now, we're focused all our energy, our entire team, on offering access points to people, and we set it up in a way that we know we can support people. So we can train you out of your mind, and that's what this is in exchange for. The value of us being able to bring you through access points to modern life meditation plan in your modern life, no matter how busy you are, no matter what the challenge is. And I think that's crucial too. You may be thinking, well, I'm in pain, or this is flaring up in my life, or I'm too depressed right now. There's nothing that's too anything that's in the way of you directly being able to experience your free self.
That's absolutely a very important point. Whatever, and I really want to emphasize this too, because whatever excuses the mind comes up with, if you're willing to bring them to the clarity right now of this longing, the clarity of the desire to know the truth of who you are, then you start to see that all of those excuses that the mind makes, they're invalid, because the most important thing is your freedom. And when you're clear on that, then you can just allow all of that to be welcomed here. You know, we don't have to push any of that away. In fact, we will invite that all here when we meet together, and we can inquire and see from clarity that none of that can actually stand in the way of your freedom. You know, we actually say this a lot because it's true. Showing up is the secret. We have people who, once they make the commitment, their mind might have all kinds of doubts, but if they just show up in the process, they get the results, because showing up is what it takes. So if you show up, you know, if you know you're ready and you show up for your meeting with us and we inquire and you're willing to just be exposed and bring it all and just say, you know, here's everything. Here's all the doubts. Here's all the confusion. Here's all the fear. Then we can shine a light on it together. And that's why I can tell you, absolutely, you will have greater clarity than ever before, because when we shine the light on it, then you recognize instantly in that you are already free. And when you recognize that, then you have the key to success with this. And through this process of 8 weeks of daily coaching, you will be shifting to that over and over and over again in your life, until it is so crystal clear that there's just no longer any way you could be fooled or deceived into thinking that you're anything other than who you are.
That's right. And we've also made a clear video. When you go to brianmark.com/private, it's a rare opportunity to sit with us at no cost and to have that clarity like Joey's talking about. There's no one who doesn't sit with us, the random few that aren't just ready to have a real light shine. And that's what revelation is, right? That's shining light into the darkness. It doesn't take the effort of the survival mind. It just takes the willingness to be open. And in that willingness to be open, you'll discover deeper what is possible. And then the question is, will you on your own keep shifting out of your mind? And if not, then we have set this up so it really works for people. I've been at this for 10 years working on access points for people in the world, waking up in their daily life. People of all walks of life, spiritual seekers, non-spiritual seekers. You can be a beginner. It doesn't matter, because actually you don't need any of that any longer. Your mind is caught to everything that's been in your way. So we have a video for you that talks about some of these things on that page, right? brianmark.com/private. And you can take that assessment. Really great to self-reflect upon yourself, and then sign up. And we look forward to seeing you one-on-one. All right.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Everybody, lots of love. Take a look if you're really ready. If you're ready to stop postponing and be free. And we're here for you.
That's right.
Okay. Lots of love.